You wouldn't be in a Steven Seagal movie? If
I would do gay porn before I would do a Steven Seagal movie. I hate those movies. They're all horrible. They give a really bad, it's a really bad portrayal of martial artists. You know, like guys get kicked and they just get a little cut on their eyebrow and look kind of sexy. You know, they're horrible, bad movies. Like Steven Seagal like gets down on his hands and knees in front of like a big group of thugs and goes, come to me, come on. And they're like, oh, no, you know, not you. You got the ponytail and the girdle. Oh. It's hysterical. They're horrible, horrible movies. They do the wagon train thing where he gets in the center and they all surround him and come one at a time. And then he gets the next guy. They're horrible.
Because you do think if they all came in at once,
it would be a problem.
You know,
grab
he could
the ponytail.
I love that understatement. It would be a problem.
It would probably be a problem. I think anything would be a problem.
Well, what's the most realistic?
End of flashback.
Much later.
Where does Steven Seagal fall in that line?
He is a legitimate Aikido black belt. In fact, he was an instructor, one of the very first Americans to teach at a dojo in Japan.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so Steven Seagal,
Wow.
but the martial art is the questionable thing. It's the martial art of Aikido it's really a martial art that was created to disarm people with swords. Here's Seagal.
It's very subtle, right?
Let's not use this because it's easy to poke fun at him when he's old. See that one right there, Steven Seagal? Go to that one. Now there's some footage of him when he was young. He's legit. He is very legit, and he was thin. It was a different thing. But the thing is, nobody comes at you like this, and a fucking NCAA wrestler would shoot a double on him and take him down faster than you can possibly imagine. I mean, this does not work.
It's a dance.
Well, it works. It works if someone doesn't know what they're doing, or if you have a lot of physical attributes. Like Seagal's a huge guy. He's a very big guy.
Meanwhile,
but the thing is, Seagal was a legit Aikido specialist. Like, if it was just Aikido, like, that's what people, like, just because a guy seemed kind of silly, you forget. Like, he had a real, legit history with Aikido. He was the first American to ever teach at a dojo in Japan. He speaks fluent Japanese, and he's a legitimate Aikido master. Like, 100% absolute legitimate Aikido master. What is this? Seagal best Aikido with Russian national Aikido team.
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, bro, I'm not bullshitting, man. His Aikido is 100% legitimate. Better than this, because this is Seagal as an older man who's overweight. Go to Steven Seagal when he was really young. There's black and white footage of him teaching at a dojo in Japan. He is 100% legit. And Aikido's not the best martial art for self-defense. It's just not. This motherfucker has some real shit. This is all 100% legit technique. He's good, man. I mean, not good. He's outstanding. His Aikido is outstanding.
Thank you for noticing that.
The real question is, how effective is Aikido?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard.
I didn't know this.
It's hard to get past someone who doesn't have an objective understanding of how people view them. You know, like what Seagal's doing. Like, Seagal, that's a front kick, man. He knows how to throw a front kick, you know?
3 years ago, and I've been perfecting it all these years. It's not exactly karate, it's just something that I created. And I learned that kick, 40 years ago, or 30 years, 35 years ago, I don't know. Long time ago, and worked for the last 35 years or so to perfect it.
3,000 whoop-whoos later.
Steven Seagal run. There's a couple. You ever see him run?
He runs very strange. He's very tall.
What's the first one he did? That's really good.
Above the law.
Look at him. Look at how he runs. He runs like a. Look at him. Look at him. Can you imagine?
He's just built odd. He's just really tall. He does run a little loose with the hands, which is kind of confusing.
It's cutting all.
Oh, it's a bunch of different movies now, because now he's got more hair.
Right, because people goof on him because of the way he runs. Bro, he was married to Kelly LeBrock, dog, at one time.
Dude, at one time, he was the man.
How many times did I jerk off to Kelly LeBrock and Woman in Red when Gene Wilder calls for her?
This is what it is. His steps are too short, and his wrists flip around. Because he's used to doing Aikido, right? He's used to everything's
Joe, don't
like
protect
flowing.
him. Please, don't protect him with the Aikido
I'm just saying,
stuff.
that's what it is.
He runs like
He's
half a fruitcake.
And Above the Law is a legitimate historical movie in terms of martial arts movies. Because it was the first movie where you got to see a real Aikido practitioner with a hybridized system of martial arts. Like he was doing Aikido, but he was also throwing a lot of punches and knife hand strikes and a lot of strikes. It wasn't
See
just...
if they showed the bodega scene and Above the Law.
But just play this out.
That's the best. Oh, yeah, all this out.
This guy, look, all the bullshit. I mean, I've made fun of him as much as anybody. But listen, his Aikido skills were very legit. He was very legit. Whether or not that stuff's real or not, that's a subject for debate. Whether or not it's really effective when you look at other things like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Is it the most effective way to grapple? Or judo? Is it the most effective way? No, it's not. But no one knew that back then. And he, at the time, in the 1980s and 90s, was a world-class martial artist. He just had a style that ultimately didn't really prove to be the best style.
Soon after.
Did you ever see any of Steven Seagal when he was very young? Mm-hmm. When he was teaching in Japan?
I was totally fast. I mean, it's like, and it's really...
It's weird, right?
Like me, right? Like, like serious actor, thoughtful actor. I'm like, what did you know? But I, like, Above the Law.
Yeah.
Because I was into all that stuff when Above the Law came out. And there was the scene in Above the Law, and he's in an Aikido, gi with the black thing, and he's doing this thing. And I was I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. Like, when have you ever seen this in a movie?
Yeah.
And he was a big guy.
And he made it violent.
Yeah.
It was very unusual sort of contribution to martial arts, because in martial arts movies.
Yeah.
He made it realistic.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the most realistic martial arts movies ever.
Yeah, it was. And, when you look back on it, there's things about it that don't date super well.
Yeah, of course. But he was undeniably
literally what you just
skillful.
showed. The thing, there's a scene where there's in a bodega, and the guy, I think he smashes a bottle, and he comes at him, and he does like a move in Aikido. It's called like kotagaishi. It's like it's like the wrist, it's like the wrist break flip over. And it was just like, oh my God, like he's doing like, nuanced Aikido moves in a big action movie. It was kind of cool.
Well, he was one of the first, I think the first Westerner to run a dojo in Japan. I mean, he was a legitimate Aikido master.
Kind of thing. And it's really wild because people like Mike Ovitz, who was like the power agent of all of Hollywood in the 80s, Mike got a black belt training with Seagal. Like, he was really serious Aikidoist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the truth of the matter is that the president of Warner Brothers was a friend of mine, and he had been very interested in me as an actor for a long time. He felt that I was very charismatic and that I had a look.
It does.
But he's a cautionary tale, too, though. I mean, not even Ovis. I mean, Seagal,
Yeah.
What he become.
I guess, honestly, I don't know anything about him past a certain point. Like, I don't know what went on there.
Yeah.
But
you can leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't.
298 frozen patties later.
What about Seagal? What do you think of Seagal?
He is really good at Aikido.
He was the GOAT, right?
Well, no, but he was very talented. Like, if you just watch his fluidity and his technique in Aikido, if you go back to the early days when he was running a dojo in Japan, and I think he was legitimately the first American to run an Aikido dojo in Japan. No bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think he was married to the daughter of one of the main senseis or something. So he was like deep in the culture, and he was really good at Aikido. But Aikido is a martial art that was developed to disarm people with swords. So when someone's coming at you with a sword, you don't have a sword, you're disarming them. The idea is to try to use their momentum against them. But it's not like offensive. And what he did in the movies is he made it offensive. Like, if you go to Above the Law is a great movie. Red Seagal is not the best Seagal. You want to go to black and white film Seagal, because you got to realize, like, Above the Law, go to old Steven Seagal footage. Above the Law was in Jamie.
Hell yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, listen, the guy, you can say whatever you want about the guy now, but I am just telling
I
you.
love him.
Yeah, this is, listen, all this. Go to old Steven Seagal footage. There's a lot of like, he's basically in a movie now, right? Like,
yeah,
that's like, he's in a movie. Those guys aren't really resisting.
And one that he's written as well.
No. Old Steven Seagal Aikido footage. There's like legitimate footage of him in the dojo. Like when you see like his ability to throw people. There you go.
He had the big feud with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The top one. So it's a lot of the movements and stuff, like very fluid. It's just not that effective a martial art in real practice.
Much later,
Steven Seagal is a legit Aikido specialist.
Right, and that's legit. Like the art. That's the art of like de-arming someone. Is that what it is?
It was invented for samurai to fight against someone with a sword. The problem with that is if someone doesn't commit, someone just fucking grabs you, wrestles you. Like a Division I wrestler against an Aikido guy. The Aikido guy has zero chance. There's not a chance in hell you're going to stop Daniel Cormier from taking you down. There's zero chance. Hamzat Chimaev grabs you, you're going for a ride 100% of the time. So this is Seagal when he was younger. Seagal was the first American to run a dojo in Japan. Now, this is later.
Okay.
This is actually later because he's already got wacky hair. Just eating carrots.
I'll watch this, kind of.
Look at the way he dresses on the...
Watch this.
Thank you.
It's so insane.
His hair is insane. That's the weird thing about like old actors that like are kind of at the end of the journey and they start appearing in foreign countries and meeting people. I want to meet Steven Seagal. Bring him to me. And then all of a sudden he's a Russian citizen. He's got a passport in Russia, like no bullshit. Yeah, he's a Russian citizen.
Right. I knew that.
Mr. Putin's always been amazing to me. This is him teaching Aikido.
This is cool.
This is much better, right? But it's also not real. Yeah. Again, like that shit doesn't work. It's like if you learn Aikido, you can do some of those things.
That was such bullshit. He just threw the guy behind his back.
The clips from like the last couple of years when he's doing it, it looks, preposterous, really.
It's a lot of preposterousness to Aikido because the people are playing along with it. They're going along with it. So that's real. It's also, it's just fucking that kind of martial art is like, it's like not. You don't really know how to fight. If you want to learn how to do that for funsies, it's fun to do. But don't think that this is going to really work.
He choked him out instantly and he shit his pants.
Gene told a story on the
really?
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this guy's
true story?
It's a true story. Gene's he's a legend, but he's the guy that choked Seagal out. So Seagal was like claiming that he couldn't be choked, and his move was when you put the rear naked choke on, he hits you in the balls. And the idea that you're going to do that to Gene LeBell, like you don't think he's been hitting the balls before? Like the delayed reaction of getting kicked in the balls. There's that weird moment where you get hit. You're like, oh no, here it comes. And by that time, Gene's already put you to sleep.
One eternity later.
I heard whispers about you on Sylvester Stallone. No. What's it? Steven Seagal. I heard whispers.
Whispers.
Yeah. There was a lot of whispers.
Yeah. About what?
You and Steven Seagal. Like I think he challenged you. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No.
We heard them.
I'm not a fighter. Steven Seagal's not a fighter. Everybody knows that. He be
training MMA guys now.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I saw him. He with Alex Pereira now.
Yeah, no. Because out of respect, people respect him because of his stature and everything. Just like like Anderson Silva and folks like that. Yeah, who don't want to meet somebody they grew up looking at in movies or whatever? But but of course it bolsters his position and makes him look like he's a legitimate fighter. But I mean, I don't feel like he needs to even do that because he is a legend as a movie star. That's what you are. And it's not like Steven Seagal ever had to block a punch from anybody trying to hit him in the face in his whole career. That's not his skill set. But it's okay for he wants to legitimize himself by being around, fighters. Okay, it is what it is. Like, but of course, my man is not a fighter. or you would have known about it.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
So,
Yeah.
so is he really not as trained and as versed in martial arts as everybody thinks?
Well, he's trained in Aikido.
Aikido? How you say that?
I saw him showing.
Aikido.
Yeah.
Which, come on now, it's that's choreography.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter.
And I'm free when I close my eyes. Got no marshal in my sorrow.